So we got a new one from one of the most technically gifted lyricists in the game. That's Lupe Fiasco, one of Chi-Town's lyrical gods. What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Moth. If you are rocking with this content, go ahead and smash that like button up for your boy. Also subscribe if you haven't subscribed. But today, I'm going to be hitting y'all with my thoughts on this new project from Lupe Fiasco entitled Samurai. Now, I got to be completely honest with y'all. When I first pressed play on this project, I didn't know the concept behind it, and I was actually confused as to what Lupe was even rapping about. I knew the sonics and the rapping was great, but I honestly had no clue what he was speaking on. But after I had done the knowledge and read that it was a concept album where he honors the late great jazz and R&B singer Amy Winehouse, then it started to make a lot more sense. So yeah, Lupe is rapping here from the perspective of Amy Winehouse as a battle rapper, which on the surface does seem like one of the more random and off-the-wall ideas for a concept album, but honestly, I'm not all that shocked considering that Lupe he's going to be ultra abstract, he's going to be super creative, and he's just going to bring you another perspective on his album. But this new project, Samurai, it is his first full-length album since Drill Music in Zion back in 2022. Now, it contains 8 songs lasting just 30 minutes. All the production was handled by Soundtrack, his longtime producer, as well as some co-production from Kush Baby. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with that track-by-track breakdown. The opener, Samurai, it is easily the best song on this album. I love the slick, breezy horn. It's a glorious, feel-good boom-bap track. The hook is soulful, ear-grabbing, and yeah, this just might be a 5-mic song, no exaggeration. Some noteworthy bars were: the unamplified, fantasized land of the soon-to-be fans of the Samurai. Smile wide, got the panoramic camera vibe. If you analyze, she's a one-woman gala, glamorized, just without the glamour of the gala ties. So as you can see, just crazy, intricate wordplay on display. And I can't say enough good things about this track. Track 2, Mumble Rap, is also one of the high points, and it's backed by a very funky instrumental that has enough low end to give it that knock. And Lupe is doing what sounds like some scat on the hook, which made it kind of groovy. It is ironic that he would title this track Mumble Rap, given that he was putting on such a show lyrically. You know, some of his third verse might be my favorite. Now everything's a verse and everything's a line, a lyrical non-stop onslaught of rhyme. The hardcore roughneck bomb drop divine sound is found when the tom chops combine with the bass and the snare and the kick. They feel you with that feeling that just make you want to spit. Just flawless rhyming there. So yeah, this was one of the highlights, and I just really dug that Chi-Town 90s flavor that this record possesses. Track 3, Cake, was one of the earlier singles. Now, the rapping on here is spectacular, but I'd have to say it's one of my least favorites on the album, and that was primarily due to the hook. Yeah, for some reason, it was hard for me to warm up to the chorus, but I did like the psychedelic organs and the hi-hats. I mean, there is a lot of energy to this instrumental, no doubt. But on here, he was putting on a lyrical masterclass. You know, there are some lyrical miracle bars, but as far as the flow, the breath control, the syllables, alliteration, the wordplay, it was all there. He does slow things down a bit for the following song, Palaces, and it's backed by a really beautiful pensive instrumental. I was digging the slower meditative keys, and there is a beat switch on the back end, and I found the hook to be very captivating and emotional. On this one, he is talking about the wisdom that he has learned in the rap business. Also, he's just reflecting on the vulnerabilities that we all have as people and as entertainers. Some standout lines were: want a forest, gotta water some plants. Normally ignoring the branch is par for the course, but when you hold a culture, you can't. Also, Being anonymous don't grant you some dark. Even astronomers keep a camera on Mars. Just some food for thought. But yeah, overall, beautiful somber track where he's talking about the ugly realities for artists in the music biz. And I can definitely see this being a favorite amongst fans. Track 5, number 1, Headband, is another great piece of jazzy boom bap. I like the lush arrangement of funky horns and a bluesy guitar. It's got a chill live band sound. And on here, he's talking about being number 1 from a battle rap perspective and all the confidence that an artist must possess to be a battle MC. There are some really thought-provoking lines like, can you approach the bench with no IKEA to build your case? And the dazzling wordplay like, gentrify different sizes like Geminis, energize like Starship Enterprise. And there's even an amusing Larry Wills, the bodybuilder reference. For everyone's stereo feels like steroids to carry heavy shit to pick it up, but you could barely lift. Now you're Larry Wills. Done. Following this is Bigfoot, which has another jazzy soundscape. I like the radiant keys. As a whole, it was very chill. There was a Caribbean hook that I didn't necessarily love. Yeah, I just found this hook to be serviceable. But on this record, he was talking about the realities of having to perform on stage and all the insecurities that can come with being a star. You know, the writing process and just the anxiety of being a musician. Lines that jumped out were, try not to worry about the walk-ins and focus on the waltzing. If the King of New York actually entered, that'd be awesome. So here he was obviously referencing both Christopher Walken and Big. Yeah, it's not that I dislike this track, but I probably like it the least. However, I could understand why some would really be a fan of this particular record. I think the hook just took it down a notch. Second to last track is Outside, and it's backed by a tranquil head nodding beat that did give me some old Dilla, Trap, and Daylight. And he does give us an Amy Winehouse like hook that was pretty vibe heavy. It's some really dope rhymes where it's like the whacker the rhyme, the more I'm drawn in, like a Tex Avery baby, to think maybe the genius in it is that it's not really good. Maybe it could be, and for some reason that made me think of Sexy Red's music, but no shade to her. Also, Lupe said to animate the chains to the level of Mr. T, and I get his gangsta booed like Memphis, Tennessee. So that was ill, and obviously a rest in peace shout out to Gangsta Boo, the Queen of Memphis. But yeah, this was a very solid track to kind of wind things down on the album. The last song, however, Till Eternity, has some of the best rapping on the project, which is saying a lot. I really love the glamorous golden keys and the crisp drums. Yeah, it was an immaculately produced record and just a strong closer. We had 3 on-point verses. Some standout lines where you can't have harvest before the hardship. Also, just as brushes go hard in the paint, so we too don't bend like arms and restraints. Yeah, I mean, I really couldn't think of a better way for him to have wrapped up this album than with this record. So overall, I'm gonna give this project a rating of 4 mics. I think it's a very lyrical dense album, that continues to showcase why he is one of the best technical rappers out there. And like most Lupe albums, it wasn't the easiest to digest upon a few listens. Although I will say I did have a little bit more difficulty grasping the meaning of some of his bars here than I did on Drill Music in Zion looking back. But if I had to compare the two, I will say that I did like this project slightly a bit more, primarily due to the instrumentals just being a little more upbeat and breezy. It just managed to keep me a little more engaged as a listener. So yeah, soundtrack definitely did its thing in providing Lupe with a batch of very warm, classy, jazzy boom bap instrumentals that did feel somewhat ideal for playing in these summer months. Of course, with Lupe and his pen game, there was a lot of rewind worthy materials or quotables that would jump out at you. But I'd also have to say this album it might not be for everyone. I would say though, for me, the only drawback was that a couple of the hooks missed the mark. Yeah, there were a couple hooks that I didn't love, but fortunately, there was some good singing on this album, and most of the hooks did land. And you could tell that he was really attempting to channel Amy Winehouse's style of choruses throughout. But yeah, at the end of the day, dope album with stellar bars and good jazz rap production. My favorite tracks include Samurai, Mumble Rap, Palace's #1, Headband, and Till Eternity. But let me know your thoughts on this album in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but as always, is peace and blessings. Lupe Fiasco Samurai.